Alright lads, what's up? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today's topic is going to be on bulking advice for teenagers mostly. So as many of you will know, I started training in the gym back when I was a teenager. I was only gone about 16 when I really started getting into training consistently. Beforehand, I had lifted weights at home from the time I was about 14, but not on that much of a consistent basis. I had one of them multi-gym machines out in my shed with a bench and dumbbells as well. So looking back now, I was actually quite educated when it comes to the gym, especially for my age at the time, like 16, 17 and that first year. I definitely learned a lot. I was always self-educating myself on YouTube. But there was still lots of mistakes I was making early on. I don't know if it was down to lack of knowledge or just lack of discipline and not knowing just how important some of these things are. But these are my 5 biggest tips for new teenagers just getting into the gym and looking to bulk up and gain muscle. First of all, I think unnecessary dieting should definitely be avoided as much as you possibly can, especially when you're a teenager. You're still growing. The most potential that you're ever going to have for muscle growth is early on in your lifting career, and that especially applies if you're a teenager and you've got loads of testosterone flowing through you. I think unless you're starting out overweight, you should try and make the most of them newbie gains and make sure you're bulking and trying to stay in a calorie surplus to give yourself that best chance of maximising muscle growth. And I know all the young lads, they want to be shredded, they want to have a six-pack on the beach, but when you're really skinny, is your six-pack really going to look that good? I think it's all about patience, looking at the bigger picture. You want to build up a substantial amount of muscle mass before you're starting to cut down so you've actually got some muscle on you. If you become big first and then worry about cutting and revealing your abs after, you'll thank yourself. I think restricting calories when you're young can hold you back. Thankfully, I didn't make this mistake much. I done one mini cut just when the lockdowns and stuff started, but that was only because I didn't really even have access to heavy weights in the gym. I was only training in my home gym. So I said, why not give cutting a try? Got a really decent nick in the space of like 2 months, but apart from that, I was always bulking, always trying to gain weight, and my main focus was always on growing muscle. Second one, and arguably the most important tip I can give to any beginner in the gym: progression in your training is literally everything when it comes to growing muscle and bulking up. So a lot of people don't understand this concept, but getting stronger is how muscle is built. You do more in the gym than you done last time, and your muscles therefore going to adapt and grow that little bit bigger each time. It's the same as you learned in school in biology. All fucking plants all adapt, like nettles as an example. Your muscles are exactly like that when you're weight training. They don't grow by just hammering them down endless volume in the gym, staying there for hours trying to get a big pump or otherwise. Your training should always be structured, and you're looking for progression, as I said before. It doesn't matter how small or how subtle them increases are from week to week. You're always just trying to do that little bit more than you done last time, and over time it's going to compound up, and that's how you're going to grow muscle long term. A couple of ways to progress include doing more reps, doing more sets, or resting less time in between sets and stuff like that. The main target, however, is trying to go heavier over time, adding weight onto that bar, while keeping good form obviously. Next tip kind of ties in with the first one I gave about not doing any unnecessary dieting. You don't need to do any unnecessary overeating either, you're just going to get fat from it. Plus, if you're dirty bulking, odds are you're eating highly processed foods. Eat shit, feel shit. Clean bulking is just the best place to be at, I think, when it comes to dieting for the gym. You're eating more calories, so you're not going to get hungry and get any food cravings like you would if you were cutting. Plus, hopefully you're eating pretty clean at least 80 or 90% of the time. You're going to have more mental clarity and much less brain fog than if you're eating processed shit all the time. And even that small surplus of about 200 calories, you're still going to gain as much muscle as you would if you had a 1,000 calorie surplus. Only difference is with them 1,000 calorie surpluses, you're going to gain a lot of fat very quickly. Number 4, and I see loads of young fellas do this, especially during the summer when they're on school holidays, they have much more time. You want to work your muscles, not annihilate them. Spending 2 or 3 hours in the gym, it might seem like you're doing a lot and you're going to keep getting better and better results the longer you're spending in the gym, but that's not really the case. And if you're doing that, especially as a beginner, you're probably just fucking yourself over. So for example, young fella comes in, he's training biceps, he's going to do 20, 30 sets of bicep curls, different variations, on the cables, on the free weights, hammer curl, overhand, underhand. Most of it is just going to be junk volume. If you're training with any sort of intensity, especially as a beginner, after 3 or 4 hard sets, that intensity of the sets is going to go way downhill and you're not going to be getting anything from it. And this whole concept ties in with the second tip I gave. It all goes back to progression with your strength. If you're just doing 30 random sets of bicep curls, how are you meant to know if you're getting stronger from week to week? And the progression example I spoke about earlier about adding more sets, doing doing 30 sets one day, 35 sets the next day. Again, it's just fucking stupid and a waste of time. And annihilating the muscles, they're just not going to recover properly. Like, doing that much volume is just pointless. So don't annihilate the muscles. Train them with a good level of intensity, low-ish volume, especially as a beginner, 2 times a week. Last tip for today, your food, your body weight and your training progress or your strength should always be tracked. If you're not tracking it, how do you know if you're progressing? Because if you're just waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months looking at yourself in the mirror every day and that's your guide of your progress, you're expecting to just wake up one day and look like fucking Thor. That's just never going to happen, and if you're not tracking your progress, you're never going to be able to compare it to where you were at before. And pretty much everyone I train, it's only when they see them progress pictures after the 2nd or 3rd month of training with me that they see that big difference. Otherwise, you're just leaving it all down to guesswork. So on the food side of things, calories should be tracked as I mentioned before so they're not getting out of control. Your protein should always be kept high too. Track your body weight every morning during the week, get an average at the end of the week, and make sure your weight gain is at a steady pace. Again, if that weight is shooting up in the space of 2 or 3 weeks, it means you're eating way too many calories, and down the line you're just going to be adding on a lot of fat. And I mentioned this before as well, track every workout in detail and make sure you progress the next time. Always do more than last time. Even if this is 1 extra rep in one of the sets, in one of the exercises, it's still progression and it's all going to add up down the line. Over time, of course, though, as I mentioned, your main goal is to be adding weight onto that bar. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. So as I said at the start of the video, if you can apply these tips, you're going to be in a very good position to be able to gain muscle at an early age. Just remember, with all the tips, obviously it comes down to your consistency with it as well. If you're only applying this 5 days of the week, you're not going to get very far. You need to stay consistent. That's the most important thing, and I think it goes without saying at this stage. So if you liked the video, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.